Good day, my name is Joe. Today we'll be doing a preview of the upcoming Kickstarter, Mercurial Alchemia. This is a competitive game for 1 to 4 players where you will be controlling an alchemist, a budding alchemist, where you will be granted an initial terrarium, botany, just some cards in your hand. So it will be a deck building game. You are trying to become the master alchemist by doing various actions around the town, brewing potions, growing your reagent pool, your catalyst pool, and your dice pool, mastering the elements and getting all the materials ready, and hopefully by the end of the game you have the most points. So the game will end when the first player gets 225 points at the end of the round. Then you'll do end game scoring, and whoever has the most points wins. So let's see a little bit more how to play. So at the beginning of the game, we're going to set up the board, and there's various tiles you'll be able to set up. Each has like a number 1 and a number 2 side. So there's various actions and various variable setup that you'll be able to do. You're going to put your 5 cards that you'll be able to buy in the market up here. You're going to get your alchemist, which is going to have its unique transmute power, and you're also going to have an arcana that's going to help you along the way when you play certain cards, and you get to trigger certain abilities. Now, in the beginning of the game, you're going to just start off with the bare bones cards in your hand. You're going to start off with just a base set of terrarium. It'll be 11 cards. You'll get 9 cards that are shared between the 2 players, or that are the same between the 2 players, and a couple tangled thorns, which are kind of cards you don't want in your deck. You don't want in your area. So when you brew the potions, you don't draw those cards in. But you are going to draw your 4 cards at the beginning of the game. Later, you may be able to draw 5. And you're going to draw those to your hand and then play those one at a time in your play area. Now, each of those are going to have a play effect. So you may get different resources. You may be able to re-roll some dice. You may be able to draw more cards and make that string of played cards a little bit better. And that is kind of your played cards for the turn. Then you're actually going to go into a worker placement phase where you are going to be deciding which kind of combo, which kind of set of actions you want to do for the turn. There is a day and a night phase. You're going to do the day action, then proceed to the night. There's 4 actions you will be able to do on the main board, plus a brew action if you think you're ready to brew your potions. But right now we'll just go over the day actions. You're going to place your worker meeple on that action. If there's somebody there, you will be able to work with them and use their transmute power. And if you go to a spot that somebody else is at, they're going to be able to use the favor token. So it's kind of I help you, you help me when somebody goes to there. There's no negative interaction in this game, and I really like that a lot. When you go to the spot you're going to do it, you may be able to buy a card. You may be able to buy more reagents, which will help you in future infusions. You may be able to buy some catalysts, buy some dice, or increase the glimmer snail and buy a glimmer snail so you can get more income as you go through your deck a little bit. But what's interesting about this game is when you put your worker down, you're going to do that action, but other people can join you. So that's not just if they're on the same action, but if they're on a different action, they can join you by paying one of their resources, and they get to do that same action too. So you have to see, and look around the table. Do other people need to do my action? Or is somebody going to go to an action that I will need to do? So that's interesting about this game is you get to do it first, and then other people around the table can join you if they feel. So everybody's going to get their turn to do that. And then we're going to go into the night phase, where the night phase will be doing the action below. So you're going to be able to potentially decrease your blight, decrease the bad things that could happen to your potion, get different cards in your deck. You may want to do an extra infuse action, which I'll get to in a second. Or you may try to cull your deck a little bit, kind of thin your terrarium, thin your plants in there so you draw the better and better cards. So that's where the deck building aspect really comes into play. You can do this action again if you have the right combination of dice, and that's where the dice kind of come in and kind of add elements that you need to do the action again. So at the end of the night action, we are going to infuse, and that's where we're actually going to add some of these ingredients to your potion, to your brew. And when you do that, you're going to alter your concoction that you've made. You're going to skew it to one side. There's always going to be these opposites, that fire is going to be opposite water, that earth is going to be opposite lightning. And so you're going to be moving these, and you really want to get them, the further you can get the concentration to one side, the more points and the more shells you're going to get, which is the currency, the more you're going to get for that side. And if you can get more of them to one side, you'll get more points as well. But you're going to be shifting these just by one element or so. But that's where some of your reagents and catalysts come in, where you can shift it 2 times on a certain element, or you can shift the direction if you meet the certain criteria. So you decide which one you kind of want out of your deck just for a little bit. You'll get it back once you prepare the potion and actually complete the potion. But you're going to brew, move the element over and increase it. Some of these upgraded cards will have multiple elements or materials on them, and you'll be able to move multiple. So the starter cards are all going to have 1s and 2s. That's where you'll want to deck build. You'll want to get these better elements, these better materials, so you can go further. So that's the interesting part about this game, is do you cull your intro cards, or do you just do with what you have with those, the introductory cards that you have in your terrarium? But that's the infuse action. So the last action I did not talk about, which would trump both the day and night action, is going to be the brew action. So you're going to put your meeple on top of this tower, and you're going to show off your potion and brew. So you'll be able to put up to 5 cards of those played cards at the beginning of your turn into your potion. You're going to move those different directions of the materials and the elements around, all while spending your catalyst and your reagents to try to get everything to one side. And you're going to have to deal, and then you're going to score your potion. You're going to deal with the blight that's in there. You may have to add more tangled thorns to your deck or pay some money, but you're going to get some money. You're going to get prestige as you move around the board. Remember, that's how you win the game, is getting to 25 prestige or more to end the game. You are going to score the potion, and then after the end, you're going to have to reset all your materials, and you're going to have to reset your potion again and start anew. But that's how you'll get all the cards back. So it's a really good balance of, do I want to keep those cards that I bought for the play action, or do I want to put them in the brew? And then at the end of the turn, or near the end of the turn, you're going to draw back up to your 4 cards. Once again, 5 if you've been upgraded or not, and pass the player marker. There are different ways to upgrade. Once you pass the 5 prestige, you will be able to draw 5 cards per turn. Once you pass the 10 prestige, you'll be able to infuse 2 cards at the end of your turn. If your snails move far enough, you can put as many ingredients into your brews you have played that you want to. And like I said, the game will end once you get past the 25 marker, and then do end of game scoring, where you'll score these bonus tiles. You'll score for the money that you've earned for the cards you have in your deck. So, and by the end, whoever has the most points wins. So let's go over some of the mechanics in this game. So deck building is a really big aspect of this game, and I found that to be very enjoyable. That you get a basic set of cards, and both people will get the same set, but you're really going to be adding some of these interesting cards. And as you play them, they may have better play abilities, or they just may give you those elements that you don't need as many of, but are a little bit more powerful in the prestige and the shell, income that that you're going to get. Speaking of income, you're going to be having to cycle your deck quite a bit in the deck building, so that income may become pretty important for you. You can really focus on income at the beginning, and every time you have to cycle your deck, yes, you do get a little bit of blight that I didn't talk about, but you're going to actually get more income every time you have to shuffle and cycle through. You can cull cards, or you can just have a massive deck of good cards. The ways you play are very open in this game, whether you want the cards, or you can just stack up a whole bunch of reagents and catalysts and dice. And so when you brew your potion, you will be able to add some of these dice to your potion. There's just various ways to score, to play, to have a good time. But one of the things I would like to highlight the most is the positive player interaction. You will never take something from somebody. The most negative thing that will happen in this game is you may take a card before somebody joins you in the action, and they won't get to choose that card. Other than that, when you go to a player spot, both players are going to be able to do something. When you join somebody, it's just you are doing that action, but you're not taking anything from them. You know, getting these Tanglethorn cards kind of clog up your deck, where there are also some cards that are very good that will help enhance your deck, whether they're outside or in this market row. It's just there's a lot of different facets to this game, a lot of different ways to play, but really heavy in the deck building, and the player interaction is always positive. And there's a lot of variants as well. They come with a lot of alchemists, they come with a lot of arcanas, and each of these boards can be flipped to either side, with the favor tiles also being flipped to the side. So there's a lot of variants for the games. During the games we've played, we go through about half of the reagent deck, so you see a lot of new cards every time. The end game scoring, where you want to get these tiles, are very neat. And there's also advanced ways to play. So I kind of explained the basic game of itself, but there's advanced ways where you can try to get the Philosopher's Stone. There's different objective cards that you'll be able to add. There's the runic kind of the runic powers. So there are kind of small little modules that you can add as you play more and are with more advanced players. But there is just a basic game where you can tell people, hey, don't worry about that. And I like that as well, that it can be adaptable for new players. I know this is a preview of the collector's edition, but I will say that this trifold is awesome. It goes through the round structure exactly, and you just loop on that, and it's very nice. And I really like how if you unfold it during the certain sections, it does tell you how to do these certain things, how to join, how to do the handshake, how to brew, exactly the steps. In every shop tile is explained, every tile is explained, every little symbol is explained, and I like it when games do that. The rule book did take a little bit to get through, and the table size will take up a moderate amount of table size, but the game overall flowed very well. So those are kind of the first thoughts that I had with this game. I don't want to make this a full review, and to be honest, this would probably get a positive review, but I was sent this game as a preview, but I just kind of wanted to show off some of the mechanics that you're going to play with this game. My channel really specializes in 2-player games, and we did play this a couple times at 2 players, and I will say the Atoma in this game is gotta be the easiest one I've run across. You are going to flip over a card, you're going to move the Atoma player, and they're going to be able to pretend like they would handshake, or you would get the favor tile that they land on. It's just very simple. With 2 players, they're going to cycle through the deck when they brew a potion. And it's just, this has to be just a nice way to do it. Flip a card, move them, do the positive interaction or brew and get rid of some of the cards and cycle through. I love the speediness of this, and it also adds another transmute power that you can use for them. So at 2 players, I thought this played very well, very quick, and I didn't mind the Atoma, especially adding that little extra flair, a little extra changing of the board state. So once again, this is the preview for the collector's edition for the Mercurial Alchemia. This is not the final version. This is just the prototype, but I will say with all the components here, I have really high hopes for the actual game itself because, man, these components, they really do look pretty cool. So check out the Kickstarter. I'll leave a link below, and until next time.